Resident Evil is one of the most popular video game franchises to date, and even more so in terms of movie adaptations. Milla Jovovich has practically cemented herself in said films and is even renowned for being the reigning queen of kick butt. Then enter Netflix's Resident Evil. It's a far cry from Jovovich's action-packed sequences, and today we'll be telling you why you shouldn't watch Resident Evil. The new Netflix series Resident Evil combines creative action horror with extensive franchise lore. In the 26 years since it debuted in 1996, Capcom's Resident Evil video game series has acquired a rich and complicated history over dozens of games. Since then, it has served as an inspiration for numerous adaptations, tie-in products, novels, comics, and cartoons, including a loosely based big-budget action horror franchise from Paul W.S. Anderson. Capcom's long-running Resident Evil video game series that began in 1996 amassed an extensive and complex history throughout dozens of games in the last 26 years. It's since inspired various tie-in merchandise, novels, comics, animation, and multiple adaptations, including Paul W.S. Anderson's loosely inspired big-budget action horror franchise. At the intersection of Anderson's action horror movies and the horror roots of video games, Netflix's Resident Evil series presents an original action horror extravaganza that goes big on franchise mythology while serving as an entry point for novices. For those unaware, the new Resident Evil has a different format wherein it follows two timelines, which may take some time to get used to. Teenagers Jade, Tamara Smart, and Billy, Sienna Ogadong, settle into their new South African community and high school in 2022. Albert Wesker, Lance Reddick, their workaholic father, spends much of his time in the Umbrella Lab developing a new drug in response to the incidents that destroyed the former Raccoon City. Jade Wesker, Ella Balinska, an adult, is still troubled by her past in 2036 as she struggles to survive in a post-apocalyptic world invaded by monsters. Seeing how there are two timelines in the series, it's a good ploy to lure in viewers as to why they needed to showcase it in this manner. The underlying mystery of the first season is based on the chasm between timelines, and most importantly, the characters, according to showrunner Andrew Dabb, who is best known for his work on the CW's Supernatural. Right now, Jade and Billy couldn't be more alike as bound sisters or more different from one another. Billy is the reserved introvert with a sympathetic streak who tends to get into trouble, while Jade is the more outspoken extrovert. They work together to navigate not just the hazards of high school, but also the unusual conditions of their upbringing by the top biochemist in the world at a dubious firm. The inciting event is included in this timeline, which also heavily influences the future, but Dabb keeps the specifics and revelations hidden. The 2036 timeline places more of an emphasis on horror action thrills, while 2022 is far more character and story-driven. The mystery surrounding Jade as an adult is still present, but it is overshadowed by the film's bombastic set pieces, action sequences, and high-octane survival horror, as her personal mission propels her through numerous terrifying encounters with infected, seedy Umbrella ambassadors and monsters big and small. Of course, it wouldn't be Resident Evil if it didn't include some of the elements from the original franchise, and we could say that we're satisfied with their inclusion of the game's lore in the series, especially since they also added some of the more vile creatures. The latter is where Resident Evil excels, particularly for the most ardent gamers. Many fascinating and fierce animals have been taken directly from the game's lore. From fun fan service to breathtaking deep cuts that'll surprise and excite you, each is included in a variety of ways. Working understanding of the backstory is not required because the series incorporates these monsters in such an approachable way. It functions just as well as an incredibly dense creature feature presentation. This is the series for you if you desire a relentless, unexpected action horror that features every kind of creature imaginable. However, this adaptation is still tainted by the campiness that dogged the original video games and can occasionally cause tonal whiplash. While certain elements of this series aim for seriousness, others go for all-out silliness. It's a total blast when it works. When it doesn't, it is detrimental to the series. Like every other show out there, Netflix's Resident Evil also has the resident bad guy in the form of Evelyn Marcus. However, her true powers are revealed much later, where some of us think it's a bit too late in the show to portray. The season's antagonist is Evelyn Marcus, portrayed by Paola Nunez, an Umbrella boss with a heart of ice. However, the season drags its feet in providing any information about Evelyn and her true villainous prowess, reducing Nunez's scene-chewing performance to the level of a mustache-twirling parody rather than a genuine danger. This villain is finally given a terrifying appearance in a critical late-season sequence, but it is too late. Although she struggles with some of the emotional demands of her character, Balinska handles the physically demanding portion of her role with skill, showcasing her acting prowess. Why so many television/film screenplays seem to be unaware that sci-fi villains may be played straight is a mystery to us. Heck, Marcus's senior lieutenant, Roth, provided a fantastic illustration in this very series, Anthony Osieme. He was unironically compared to Cruella de Vil at one point, but Paola Nunez's character was unfortunately more subtle. It's unfortunate because Nunez was given a few fleeting opportunities to show that Evelyn Marcus could be portrayed in a far more nuanced and complex way, especially when she interacted with her family. Nunez's character may have been poorly written, which resulted in why her actions were as such, but hey, at least we saw a stellar performance in the series thanks to Albert Wesker. The season's standout performance belongs to Lance Reddick's unexpected portrayal of franchise stalwart Albert Wesker. Wesker undoubtedly has some stunning secrets that are essential to this season, but Reddick's versatility with the role is impressive. While this Wesker does possess the intimidating demeanor and menacing authority that fans would anticipate, it becomes contagious when Reddick lets free. One of the things that the series should have handled differently is the race issue, at least for some fans who saw it as an area of concern. There is little doubt that Wesker's race switch undermines a significant part of his character's background. The Umbrella Corporation's involvement in eugenics is rife with Nazi overtones. Even while the concept of eugenics and establishing a master race is not unique to North or Western Europe, Wesker's Aryan appearance undoubtedly connects it there. However, Reddick is so excellent in this character that it's simple for a casual Resident Evil fan, like many others, to overlook it, especially given how startlingly accurate his brief portrayal of the original Wesker was. The eugenics and cloning aspects of Umbrella Corp are de-emphasized in the series, which makes them considerably less significant to the overall plot. We can still see why devoted Resident Evil game players could have been upset, but perhaps we can all agree that, within the confines of the franchise, Reddick did a fantastic job with the part. Now, let's talk about the series' CGI. With today's technological advancement, Resident Evil still suffers from poor CGI, and the series needs to work on several aspects of this. Great action scenes with lots of gore are shown. The CGI is the only issue that comes to mind, but given that it's a streaming series, it makes sense. The majority of the time, streaming shows have CGI issues. The CGI is quite bad in some situations, but it also has some good scenes, so it doesn't ruin the experience. At the end of the day, the only major issue we have with Netflix's Resident Evil is that the overlapping timelines can be a cause of confusion. Apart from several dead and slow moments in the series, the two overlapping timelines aid in advancing the plot and delaying the resolution, although they occasionally cause pace issues. Overall, DAB creates an engrossing first season full of monster mayhem, stunning scope and grandeur, and an engaging cast of Wesker family members. Hardcore Resident Evil fans may be angry that this series feels so dissimilar to the games, and we can understand that. To be fair, none of the live-action films did either, so that's something. The series has a much higher potential of doing this than any other movie adaptation to date, which is another reason why Netflix had to create something that could attract outside/casual viewers to the franchise. If a second season is produced, it will be intriguing to see how Jade and Billy's marriage fell apart so terribly as the sisters square off in the future. And with that, we're concluding today's video on why you shouldn't watch Resident Evil, because it'll give you room to explore what else could be done with the series. Thanks for watching today's video, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel with the notification bell on. We'll see you again next time.